You have $100, not $10,000, not an inheritance from a wealthy relative who suddenly passed away and left it to you, though maybe you wish that had happened. It's okay, so do I. Just $100, the kind of money that disappears from your wallet every weekend without leaving a note. You look at your account on Monday and wonder, wait, what did I even do? Did I eat? Did I buy anything? Or did my money just go on vacation? $100. Too little to care about. Too little to change your life. Too meaningless. Wrong. Completely wrong. And today, I'm going to prove to you that $100 a month, if you're patient enough and willing to do absolutely nothing, can turn into a number that will make you sit back, stare at the screen, and ask yourself, am I dreaming? No, you're not dreaming. You just haven't started yet. Welcome to today's video. Buckle up. Not because it's dangerous, but because after this video, your brain is going to need some time to process it. Part 1. The first day. When you click the button and nothing happens. Okay, you've made your decision. You open your investment app, create an account, choose an index fund. Sounds pretty fancy, doesn't it? An index fund. It makes you sound like you're doing something very professional when you tell your friends. And then you click confirm. And nothing happens. No confetti, no dramatic music, no notification from the universe saying congratulations, you just changed your financial future. Your account shows $100. The market moves just a little. Your account now shows $99.70. You just lost 30 cents in 5 minutes. You check again. Still $99.70. You check one more time before going to bed. $99.68. You lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering if you've made a mistake. Here's the brutal truth that nobody tells you. The first days of investing are so boring you could cry. No drama, no plot twists. Just a tiny number sitting there in an app that you open less and less because there's never anything interesting to see. 6 months go by. You've invested $600. Your account now shows $578. That's right. You're in the red. You're down $22 compared to what you've put in. $578. Not a number you'd brag about. Not a number that ends up in a social media success story. It's the kind of number that if you tell your friends about it, they'll nod politely and quickly change the subject. But here's the important part. And I need you to listen to this very carefully. You're building the foundation. And foundations are underground. Nobody sees them. But without them, everything collapses. Part 2. The first year. $112 in a lesson worth more than money. 12 months. You've invested $1,200. Your account, $1,312. Your profit, $112. Wow. $112? Impressive. You could use that money to buy a decent pair of shoes, or enjoy a few nice restaurant meals, or, if you're being frugal, buy about 11 large bubble teas with every topping. You could earn that much by working one extra afternoon. So what's the point? Here's what that $112 doesn't show on the screen. Over the past 12 months, every $100 could have become a great meal, a new outfit, or a fun night out with friends. And every month, you chose not to do that. Not because you're a saint, not because you hate having fun, but because you made one small decision, repeated 12 times. And you discovered something interesting. Your life didn't fall apart without $100 each month. That thing you thought was essential? Turns out it wasn't all that essential. You still ate. You still had fun. You still lived your life. In fact, there were months when you completely forgot you were giving up $100. The $112 you earned from the market is a small reward, but realizing that $100 isn't load-bearing in your life, that's the real reward. And not everyone gets to learn that lesson. Part 3. The second year, the market crashes and you still do nothing. 26 months, $2,600 contributed. Your account, $3,100. Okay, now the numbers are starting to feel real. You begin opening the app not because you're worried, but because you're curious. This is a huge psychological milestone that you don't even notice. You've gone from being afraid to simply keeping an eye on things. And then, the market drops 14% in 11 weeks. $380 disappears from your account in less than 3 months. $3,100 becomes $2,670. You feel something strange, not exactly a stomachache, not exactly tightness in your chest, but something in between. You open the app, look, close the app, open it again, look some more. Then you put your phone down and stare out the window like a character in a European psychological drama. Your instincts are screaming, sell, sell before you lose everything. But you don't sell. You transfer $100 right on schedule. No negotiating, no debating, like a robot, but a smart one. And here's the interesting part. When prices are lower, your $100 buys more shares than it did 3 months earlier. You're buying things on sale. This is the stock market's version of Black Friday, yet most people run away instead of rushing in. 8 months later, the market recovers. Your account, $3,900. Those shares you bought during the downturn, they're now worth far more than they were when you bought them. Nobody gives you flowers. Nobody pats you on the back. It's still just a number on a screen. But that number is proof that you did the hardest thing in investing. You did nothing while everyone else was panicking. Part 4. Year 5. The machine comes to life. The third year ends. $3,600 contributed. Your account, $4,750. A profit of $1,150. Year 5. You're 29 years old. $6,000 contributed. Your account, $8,200. $8,200? More than the savings of most Americans right now. Not because you earn more than they do. Not because you're luckier than they are, but because you started one small habit on some ordinary evening. And you never stopped. But I want to add one more thing. $8,200 isn't about the money. $8,200 is proof. Proof that you can build something from almost nothing over a long period of time without winning the lottery, without getting a massive raise, and without any magical investing secret. Proof that the machine works if you keep feeding it fuel. And you're the one fueling that machine. Year 5 changes you in quieter ways, too. You start listening differently when people talk about money. You start looking at your spending differently. Not in a, I'm a financial monk kind of way, but in a, is this really worth it kind of way. You still travel. You still buy the things you enjoy. You just do it within a system where that $100 is untouchable. That $100 is like the most reliable tenant you've ever had. Every month, it pays on time, never asks for an extension, never complains, never asks for a discount, right on schedule, right on time. Part 5. Year 10. Money starts making money. You're 34 years old, 120 months, $12,000 contributed. Your account, $20,500. Let's pause here for a moment. Last year, your portfolio generated about $1,700, all without another single dollar from you. No overtime, no side jobs, just the shares you bought over the past 10 years. producing more for each other. Sounds a little strange, doesn't it? Shares having babies. But that's really how compound interest works. Your earnings are reinvested. Those earnings generate more earnings, and the cycle begins to accelerate. You invest $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Your portfolio generates $1,700 a year on its own. That means the market is now contributing more than you are. Imagine having a business partner, someone who is never late, never calls in sick, never asks for a raise, and every month quietly transfers money into your shared account. That partner's name is time. And time is the most loyal investor you've ever had. Part 6, Year 20. The magic begins to reveal itself. You're 44 years old, 20 years, $24,000 contributed. Your account, $76,000. You now have $52,000 more than the amount you actually invested, not because you timed the market, not because of a hot stock tip from someone you met online, not because you got lucky with crypto, just $100 a month and 20 years of patience. And here's the number that makes me want to shout it to the whole world. Year 1, the market gives you $112. Year 10, the market gives you $1,700. Year 20, the market gives you $7,000 every year. You contribute $1,200 a year. The market gives you back $7,000 a year. At this point, you're almost just a passenger. All you have to do is sit there and keep making that monthly transfer. The machine already has its own momentum. You just have to resist the urge to turn it off. It's like plugging in your phone before you go to bed and waking up to see the battery at 100%. Except instead of your phone battery, it's your investment account. Part 7, Years 30 and 40. When the numbers become absurd, you're 54 years old, $36,000 contributed. Your account, $227,000. Let me say that again. You invested $36,000. You now have $227,000. Where did that extra $191,000 come from? You didn't earn it. Nobody gave it to you. It grew from those $100 you invested month after month for 30 years, compounding on top of itself, multiplying exponentially. And with a balance of $227,000, assuming an average annual return of 10%, your account is generating about $22,700 a year, nearly $1,900 a month, without you ever touching the principal. You started with $100 a month. Now your account is paying you $1,900 a month. And we're still not done. You're 64 years old. $48,000 contributed over 40 years. Your account, $637,000. $637,000 from $48,000. That $589,000 difference wasn't something you earned. It grew because of time. And because you refused to stop. Every month, it felt like nothing was happening. Every market downturn, you didn't sell. Every year passed without applause. Every Tuesday, you transferred your money without anyone congratulating you. All of those moments, added together, multiplied, and this is the result. Part 8, the conclusion, the real lesson. I've just taken you through 40 years and nearly $600,000. But here's what I really want to say. This video isn't about money. It's about the version of you that's built when you choose small and consistent over waiting for something big and perfect. Most people are waiting. Waiting for a raise. Waiting for the market to be just right. Waiting for their year-end bonus. waiting until they have enough money before they finally start investing for real. Do you know when enough money finally arrives? Never. Because life always finds a way to spend whatever you earn, no matter how much you make. Your income goes up, and so do your expenses. That's one of the universe's unbreakable rules. The person who starts with $100 a month and the person who waits until they can invest $1,000 a month will arrive at the age of 40 by two very different paths. The first person has 40 years of compound growth and a habit that's become part of who they are. The second person has good intentions and a savings account that's been borrowed from far too many times. Time doesn't wait until you have enough money. It runs on whatever you give it. You give it $100. You give it every month. You give it for 40 years, and it gives you back something that $100 could never buy, waiting could never create, and shortcuts could never produce. Proof that the smallest right decision, repeated without stopping, becomes something that looks like luck from the outside, but is really discipline on the inside. $100 a month, starting today. The machine is waiting for you. If this video was helpful, leave a like. It doesn't cost $100. It's completely free. And if you have friends who are still waiting for the right time to invest, tag them here. This could be the most valuable $100 they've never spent. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.